I just want to make a couple quick comments. For the Lamont administration, when we think about the state's economy, which really has not performed as it should over the past, there are really four key things. There's many, but four key things that we're focused on for the future. One of which is our cities. Secondly, transportation. Thirdly, workforce and workforce training. And then fourth, the innovation and how we think about makerspace, and maybe this is a good place to start. We need to have makerspaces and innovative economies in our cities. Connecticut cities, relative to other cities, don't necessarily have the vibrancy, the density that we need to really make them the attractive environments, the 24-hour cities of today. We're in Hartford, which has made tremendous strides, but it's really important that we continue to invest in our cities, that we have more job creation here, that we have more residential development here. So it's a city that people are living in and working in, and ultimately the makerspace movement and what Deborah and her team have done here is a big start. There's significantly more businesses that are coming into Hartford and calling Hartford home, and that's something we're very, very proud of. The other aspect of it, outside of the businesses that are coming here, is the continued investment. In particular, one of the things we're focused on is enabling further residential development and investment here in the city of Hartford, making sure that people are calling this place home, not just a place to work in, and then ultimately at 5 o'clock they're going somewhere to the suburbs. So you should see from us continued investment, continued focus on our cities. Just 2 weeks ago, we did a conference on opportunity zones down in New Haven. Over 400 people were there. Roughly a third of them were investors that were looking to put capital into Connecticut businesses, into Connecticut real estate. So I think you're seeing a shift here, and this is a turnaround. So more focus on our cities, more focus on the innovation economy. That's a really key focus for us, as we think about not just the state of Connecticut, but the cities that are going to be crucial to our economic future. Because it's my view, we can't think about the future of the state as a suburban or rural area exclusively over the next 25 to 50 years. We need to have a denser city-like environment, more people that can travel without owning a car, that can walk in dense areas and really enjoy life. So with that, I'm going to stop. I think I'm going to pass it over to Mayor Bronin has arrived, and then you're going to hear from Colin Cooper, who is our new manufacturing czar, just joined the government 2 weeks ago.
So I'm just going to introduce Mayor Bronin. I think most all of us know who he is already. Luke Bronin is the 67th mayor of the city of Hartford. He was sworn in January 1st, 2016, and just last week he was reelected to a second term, which I'm thrilled about. And throughout his tenure, he's shown a tireless commitment to building a stronger Hartford. We've been fortunate to have him as an early and consistent advocate of Makerspace. Frequently, I call him one of my champions. He previously served in senior positions in federal and state government, including senior advisory to the Deputy Secretary of the U.S. Treasury, the General Counsel to the Governor, to Governor Daniel Malloy, and he's also a veteran, having served in Afghanistan in the U.S. Navy Reserve. Luke.
Thank you so much, Deborah. It's great to be here and great to be at this Makerspace Summit in the actual home of MakerspaceCT. And I want to just say thank you to Deborah and to everybody who made MakerspaceCT a reality. I hope everybody here has gotten a chance to actually spend some time in the Makerspace. It's really an extraordinary place, and the fact that it exists is a testament to the tenacity and the vision and the tireless effort of Deborah and a whole lot of other people who made it happen. I got to catch some of Commissioner Lehman's remarks, and I couldn't have said it better. I mean, I think that we're at a moment right now where we've seen a really rapid evolution of the innovation community in Hartford. And we're going from a place where there wasn't a whole lot going on. We have some remarkable companies who are based here, but in terms of the startup ecosystem and the community around innovators who are here, there wasn't all that much. And in just the last few years, we've seen a real blossoming of it, from the InsurTech Accelerator just across the street, bringing in Startup Bootcamp, working alongside all of our insurance companies. Startup Bootcamp is one of the national leaders in business acceleration. Just around the corner, where Nassau Re has launched Nassau Reimagine and bringing insurance tech startups and giving them a beautiful space to do their work. Stanley Black & Decker's incredible Manufactory 4.0 and accelerator in partnership with Techstars, another global leader. The Digital Health Accelerator between Hartford Healthcare and UConn and Trinity. Upward Labs focused on the smart building and elder care space. All of those things. Companies like Infosys that have made a huge commitment here and have built a beautiful space that they use to help accelerate the growth of that innovation community. And we can go on and on. Galaxy Solutions, which just came in partnership with Cigna. I think you have both the organic growth and the commitment of our biggest companies to keeping this going. But to me, one of the most exciting things that's happened over the last few years as we've tried to cultivate and nurture that ecosystem is the opening of MakerspaceCT, because it is a place that, I know I'm preaching to the choir here, but it's a place that brings all of those pieces together, where anybody who has an idea that they want to turn into reality, that they want to prototype, but they don't have the access to capital to do it, they can do it here. And to make sure that our innovation community is open to everybody, that it's inclusive, that it's creating opportunity, for kids in our Hartford Public Schools or kids right next door at Capital Community College, just as much as it is for that creator who's got an idea and sitting at Stanley Black & Decker or Pratt & Whitney. All of that matters. And we've got some incredible creators and innovators and inventors in our city who now have the opportunity to get the ability to turn their ideas into reality. And I hope that we're able, a couple years down the road, to see this as just one more step along the road to where we want to go, which is to really make Hartford the best place on the East Coast to start or grow a business. That's something that I've heard Michelle Cody, articulate as our goal, and I couldn't say it better than she does. This city should be the best place on the East Coast to start or grow a business. Our scale's an advantage. We're small enough that you can be part of the fabric of the community. You can get access to decision makers. You can live a good quality of life and not have to drive 3 hours in congestion to get to work or pay a fortune to live in a shoebox. You've got a community that's livable with an incredible concentration of creative, innovative companies, a growing ecosystem of startups and inventors. And MakerspaceCT is a big, big part of that. So I just want to say thank you again to Deborah for all you've done, and it's fun to be here.
So he's been here to speak so many times and he's never left with a token. So today he gets a little plaque.
Thank you.
Thank you. We really appreciate all your support. I'm going to call up Colin Cooper next. We're thrilled to have Colin Cooper with us today. He's brand spanking new in this position. Just last month, he was named the state's first Chief Manufacturing Officer, a role where he'll be working to strengthen the overall competitiveness of the state's manufacturing sector. As the former CEO of Whitcraft Group, and with over 20 years experience in manufacturing, he's certainly well equipped to excel in this important position. And I'm sorry you weren't here earlier. All morning we've been talking about manufacturing in many shapes and forms and its importance. You'd have been bolstered. Do you want to go up on the podium? Or?
I'll walk here. I apologize, I've got some prepared notes. I spent the last 20 years sort of talking about what I was living, and now I'm in a new position, so I've got some notes to go by. But I'm delighted to be here. It's great. I grew up in New Britain, just down the road, and I never really had the opportunity as a kid to go into New York to see the Macy's Day Parade or the Fifth Avenue shop windows. And for us, the big exciting thing was to come into Hartford to see the lights at Constitution Plaza and then come to G Fox during the holidays. So it's delightful to be here and see this space repurposed and live and well. It's just such a beautiful building. So this is great. Thank you. So now I'm into my completing my second week as the Chief Manufacturing Officer of the state of Connecticut. And much of my time to date has been spent interacting with the various stakeholders in and around the manufacturing community to understand and prioritize the issues that they're facing and try to develop a quantitative foundation to understand the recent trends and the current state of play of manufacturing in Connecticut. The great news is manufacturing is alive and well and thriving in Connecticut. The bad news is that it's doing so well that today we've got between 5,000 and 10,000 open positions in manufacturing. But in the scheme of things, that's a pretty good place to be. And these are great jobs. These are jobs with very competitive wages, full benefits, and they're jobs that lead to careers for folks and career advancement and long-term, great, sort of what we talk about, middle-class living. So these jobs could be filled immediately if we had the people with the requisite skills to do it. In addition to the current backlog that we have today of between 5,000 and 10,000 positions, we estimate we'll need about another 7,000 people a year to go into the manufacturing workforce, and that's for the foreseeable future. In the mid-'80s, if you look at the data, in the mid-'80s, the manufacturing workforce in Connecticut was almost 300,000 people, and over the ensuing 30-plus years, it declined by about half and sort of hit a low point about 10 years ago, about 150,000. Since then, it's stabilized and it's actually come back, and today we've got about 160,000 people in Connecticut working in manufacturing. But unfortunately, during that 30-year period of decline, there was little need for new workers in manufacturing. So as a result, today we've got a workforce that is a lot of gray-haired people like me in manufacturing. 35% of our workforce in manufacturing is over 5 years old, and this is really, one of the primary driving factors for the need for workers. So this state, we've made great progress in the last 10 years building out the training infrastructure and putting pipelines in place to meet the hiring needs. Today, I believe 8 of our 11 community colleges have manufacturing programs. I've been to visit some. They're really world-class. Our technical high schools have robust programs that are oversubscribed. Our four-year colleges have broadened and strengthened their offerings in areas such as engineering, and numerous other institutions and programs have stepped up to help to meet the needs. And all of these efforts are necessary but not sufficient. We need to continue to drive the throughput and the output of these programs, and we need to do it as fast as possible. And I'm hopeful institutions like these, like Makerspace, can play a role in helping us train the folks needed for manufacturing in the future. In addition, my personal experience indicates that during that 30-year decline in manufacturing, there was also a decline in new manufacturing business formations. It's those new businesses that will help fill the needs of the market in the future. The Connecticut manufacturing landscape is full of stories. We've all heard stories of folks starting business in their garage. The business that I worked for the last 20 years was started in the garage of a guy named Mickey Wittenberg in 1960. When I left the business last month, we had 1,100 workers there. So that is really a testament. And Mickey was the quintessential Yankee tinkerer. He would go in his garage and tinker with things. But he built a business that is thriving today, founded a business that's thriving today. The Makerspace has that opportunity to play the role of that garage in the 21st century. In fact, it's got a significant advantage over an isolated garage in that it's a place where a multitude of people with common interests can gather to work on projects while sharing ideas, equipment, and knowledge. And that's a wonderful recipe for creativity and entrepreneurship. And creativity and entrepreneurship are needed in abundance in this great state for the future. So thank you and congratulations. Just as an aside, I want to tell you that if you haven't been down to see the space downstairs, I got to take a tour 2 weeks ago, and for a guy who's a recovering engineer and has been in manufacturing for 20 years, I felt like a kid in a candy store. It's really fabulous. So I recommend you go down there and see it. Thank you.